pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. Start with the roll call. Roll call, sir.
Scott M. Harwitz, President.
I'm here.
William Pell is here. Edwin J. Warner is here.
Present.
Ann Walker.
Here.
William Parrish.
Here.
All right. Welcome everybody. Let's jump right into it here today. So the waterfowl stuff, we're gonna do this now, or are we holding this off?
Let me text Lisa, sorry.
All right, let's jump to general permit application stuff. I have Colella 23 LLC at 23A West Hyanna Road, Hampton Bays, Cole Environmental Services. I don't see them here, but we did request, this is a remove and replace an existing dock with a 4x43 catwalk, leading to a new compliant 3x16 ramp and a 6x20 float, all with tropical hardwood and open grate decking. We did request an advisory on this one, right?
Yes.
So I think what makes sense on this is based on the fact that we don't have a representation from the applicant's agent, nor do we have anything back yet, right? From our recently requested advisory, we probably best hold it,
I agree.
okay? All right.
And they may show up later. but
They
we still don't
may.
have the
But
advisory.
we're still gonna wait for that advisory anyway, so we'll put it on, the hold. So trustee Powell?
I have Barbara Rush, 124 Cold Spring Pond Point Road, First Coastal. I guess Billy's late again. But just wait until he comes.
Okay,
Next one I have is William Scott Baldwin, 45 Cedar Crest Road, North Sea. Owner. Not here, so I guess we'll put that one.
He said he couldn't make it.
All right, so I'll hold this
hold
one.
that one too.
Yeah.
So trustee Warner,
Oh, but Lisa's here, do you want?
Lisa,
Yeah, why don't we go into the waterfowl?
let's do the waterfowl.
Yeah,
Come on
we-
up.
just-
Yeah,
yeah,
since you're
because-
here, we'll,
None of the consultants, they're
Right,
stuck
just give
in,
them a little time.
they're stuck in traffic. No.
It's not
we're
true.
stuck in.
And not a lot of.
It could happen in 2 seconds, there could be traffic in this
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, but we can go through the waterfowl
All
stuff.
right,
You got
what do we have first?
Richard McCavanaugh, permit number 51.
Addition of a
co-permitting.
co-permitted,
Dennis Schmidt.
okay, so I sent that to Rich.
Rich being Rich Franks, the Marine Patrol, Bay Constable, that advises the board.
And
On the
he
waterfowl
said it all
program.
looked good to him. Yeah. The paperwork is all good, he had everything, had his hunting license, his duck stamp, so, I think we should approve.
All right, if you
Okay.
checked
It's up
all
to you
the, checked
guys.
all the boxes and you're in
Checked all the
compliance with the
boxes.
program, then it should advance.
Where
Yep.
is
Yeah,
this?
that's-
It's hard to tell from the,
Where is he?
okay,
Coon Road,
thank you.
here, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Off
the
Greater
location's
Greenback
not changing,
Island?
just a co-permit.
No, no, I
Yeah,
know.
the co-permit.
I just want to see where we're.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then we have
Thanks,
Brian
James.
Corradino, permit number 67. This is a
He's-
transfer.
Yeah, he's transferring his permit. Again, I sent it to the Bay Constables. They were fine with the transfer.
Met all the
Um,
requirements?
He has had his training, he had all his paperwork.
How many blinds does James O'Neill? He already has one, right?
Who? James O'Neill?
Yeah.
I think I checked. He was not on the waiting list. I'm sorry, these are all askew.
That's good.
Askew.
What's
good
with you?
Askew. All looks good on our end, approved for transfer, and they will need to be removed from the wait list. So this gentleman was on the wait list.
Okay.
Yes.
So we can move it ahead?
He's all good.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. Next.
Okay, next is Michael Tessitore. He's surrendering his permit 232 to go back on the wait list, and he picked up a new one. This is the one on Widgeon Way. Let me just get Rich's.
Yeah, with Rich's recommendation.
Okay. He said he would approve the new location and his old location going to be, he asked if it was gonna be waitlisted, which it will be, go on the wait list next year. As for hunting, the layout blind or his boat would be fine as per our previous discussion.
Okay, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
he's good.
Okay.
So that's gonna,
So this spot, permit 232, will go back to the wait
right, so
list
that
for
should be
next
fixed.
year.
Yep,
And that should be a boat. That should not be a,
232 should be a boat?
yeah, boat.
Okay. I will put a
That way it
note
could
in
be,
that,
that's
so
in
whoever.
Sabonic, it should be removed for the summer.
Yeah,
Blind?
That's why it should be a boat.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, well, I know I can speak to, elaborate a little bit more about these blinds in some of these locations. They draw ospreys that nest on them, and then they get predated very easy by raccoons. So we would rather have a boat that could be removed out of the system, so there's no
yeah.
issues like that.
Thanks, sir.
so you want 232, that's,
That's
Gonna
if
be
it
a
goes
duck
back out
boat.
of the wait list,
A
you
duck
want that
boat.
to be
A duck
listed
boat.
with conditions as it's gonna be a duck boat spot.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right,
all righty.
recommendation.
And then the next one is Mario Bareshi, permit number 65. He's transferring it to Justin McGee.
Yep.
The Bay Constable said, all looks good on our end, approved for transfers, and they will need to be removed from the wait list. Mr. McGee was not on the wait list. He is one of our he works for the, sorry, I
DEC,
just went blank.
Department Environmental Conservation Officer, yes.
So,
and then code officer.
So
Yes.
Rich was fine with that. He had all his paperwork.
Right, meets all the
He
guidelines.
does live in West Hampton.
Okay.
Um,
If he meets the blue book and all the terms
Yep.
of the program, then it should advance.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have George Valentine Jr., permit 96, transfer permit to Jeffrey Moore. That's not it. Sorry about that, guys. Okay.
Is
Here
this
we
a
go.
blind or is this a boat?
This is. Rich said everything looks good. Mr. Moore has everything. All looks good, approved on our end, pending trustee board final approval.
There was a blind, there was a couple blinds there, so I don't know if it was a blind or a boat here specifically.
I can look to see what he checked off. He's going to
If it's right
use-
there, it should be a boat. That way it has to be removed. Is that, the red one, is that 96?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on the
Should
west
say
side
on
of
the
Middle
front
Pond.
Yeah, that's, he
Yeah.
didn't circle it.
You didn't check?
Because it was a blind,
Just the old
but
permit.
Oh, duck boat.
It's a duck
Okay.
boat.
Yep,
Yeah, okay, that makes
Good.
sense.
yep.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we should make that memorialize it as a duck boat.
As a
That way it
duck
can
boat.
be
Indicate
removed.
that as conditions, just.
And
like
that's
the-
another area where ospreys nest, so, and then they get predated, so.
Okay. So, let this gentleman know when that part of the condition is it has to be a duck boat,
Yeah.
not a boat.
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Duck boat. Okay. The next one is Rich Kelly, no permit. This was denied. At the one, and
What's the,
they denied because of the access?
James, do you mind drawing it up? Can you?
I don't know where it is.
so we're advancing the denial.
Yes, yes, because there's no access. It's a private property to it. So,
So-
again, this was one of we have
This is one
reviewed
we
the
had.
attached application. Appears that additional access is needed from other persons than the trustees to access the location, a private property owner. He was supposed to contact Rich, which he never did.
Well, when we issue these blinds, it becomes really problematic.
Yeah.
So I'd
Yeah.
rather stay out of
It's a
the.
mess.
Denial.
No,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
There's no, GIS?
He may have had access
In the past, I did
to
not.
the spot, but
Only.
Nobody-
it would have only been because
Right.
he knew the people.
Right.
Yeah, then that
Yeah,
becomes
so-
problematic.
You guys wanna look-
Recommendation is denial.
Hey,
Yes.
Ed, going forward on this one pond, we can make it a bird sanctuary, so you won't have this trouble again.
This one here,
Yeah.
is that, where
Is
is it?
this Poxabog?
Mm-hmm, I believe so.
Is it Poxabog or is it Callus?
No, it's a little
Little
tiny
tiny thing.
thing that's.
Tiny thing, it's in a development.
This is not a, yeah, this is, no.
What's the, is there an?
I don't
See the
think,
little
I
pig?
don't think Rich thought it
Yeah,
was
that's-
safe there.
that's-
Yeah,
so-
no,
That's
that's a
still-
denial.
Yeah.
Parked there, and that's the location there, that's not a good spot.
No.
No,
denial.
that should be
a
made a
rest
bird
area?
sanctuary.
Yes,
Okay.
doesn't
Alright.
even have a name to the
Yeah.
water body.
Denial.
Puddle.
Next,
Okay, the next one is Eric Hagan.
You're gonna advance
Um,
the denial.
we're advancing a denial.
Thanks,
Yeah.
James.
Next one is Eric Hagan. You actually had denied this because he did not have public access, but there is public
Yes.
access.
He did
And
his
then
research.
you wanted to know about resting birds. There's 2 ponds on the other side of this pond, if you can, I think,
Where is it?
I'm sorry, it is,
believe
Mulva
that-
Hill Pond.
Brick Kiln, the intersection of Brick Kiln and Stony Hill Road,
Yeah.
so more to the east.
The actual report from the constables is,
Yes, it's okay.
I'm not sure if the pond is a resting area or not. I would guess if there are ponds in the area that aren't being actively hunted during the season, they could be deemed a sanctuary area. So there's 3 ponds, this,
There.
or resting area. But as far as this specific pond, I'm not sure. If the trustee board wishes to make this pond a sanctuary
But there are
or
other-
resting area for waterfowl, then they should move forward with a public hearing to do so. Need anything else, let me know.
I'm
So
okay
there's
with-
3 ponds,
Yeah,
yeah.
but this one's gonna be high.
but it met all the safety measures.
Yep,
You
he
just got
can
that
get
in there?
to it, and the condition you guys, because this gentleman also said at one point there was public, he could use a private property, but we don't want to do that, because if he ever gives up the blind,
Yeah.
he does not have access to that.
Right.
So he can only hunt it if he uses the public access. So that's a condition that you need to vote on, whether you want to do that or not.
James,
That's important, because we don't want to create problematic situations. You want to have a,
Is that pond all cleared out, or there's a lot of, 'cause-
I have no idea.
what, Phragmites?
yeah,
No, it's hard to really see it on these
I know.
GIS. I'm okay with this
Wait,
pond.
Wait, just one
Hey,
question.
Ed,
James,
I
draw
think
back
that
just a little
you
bit
could
more.
put a condition on that, the duck blind has to be removed, or a duck boat, so it's not
It-
sit.
Sitting on the meadow and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah,
James, draw back just a little bit more. Spring Pond Farm is north of here, right?
Spring
This-
Farm
Yes.
is right here.
It
This-
does. So
Those 2
this-
ponds on Spring
So
Pond.
this abuts Spring Pond Farm, which is in the process of being, or is on the market. So, I mean, I don't know where this will go, but there has been the proposition put forward that this would be purchased by CPF. I don't know if it would be open space, but just.
But
that's
this
a
pond is not on
consideration.
that
No,
property.
it-
It's
Yeah.
separate.
but if it meets all the safety setbacks as per the
Yeah.
Bay Constables,
should be fine.
Yeah,
it should be fine as long as there's public access to get to it.
which there he is. yeah.
And then we could deal with the other 2, perhaps as sanctuary resting area, to balance out this.
And I just put, that has to be a boat, or the blind has to be removed.
Okay,
You go with that?
It can't sit on the wetlands. so.
okay. So boat or blind removal?
And how is there access again? How is there public
There's,
access?
there's the,
To the north, I think.
yeah, see that's a,
It's a preserve?
no, there's a dirt road. I think it's part of the, what do you
Okay.
call them,
So
the
there's-
tower
There's a dirt road that's.
that runs, see it right there? That's it, right there.
This?
No, right there, that line.
That one there.
Yeah,
Oh, so along Middle Line Highway,
Yeah.
along
Yeah.
High Tension?
mhm,
Yep,
Okay,
yeah.
so he has that good access.
okay.
Okay, so this one's advanced with either a duck boat or the blind has to be removed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how you get a duck boat in there,
Well, once you put a line there, then if something goes, you never get it out, and
Well,
if that gets developed.
That's a good point.
Well, a
You
lot
don't
of,
think you could get a duck boat in?
Yeah, but a lot of these ponds, there's no title exchange, so you just basically build a blind on location.
But,
Yeah.
but if it has to be removed,
How's that gonna work?
Yeah.
and why can't you
Or-
get why can't you get a duck boat in there?
I don't know if there's a launching ramp.
It might have to be just a scooter
So,
type.
so you have to, if you're gonna put conditions on, they gotta be conditions that
Yeah.
people can meet. So if they're gonna build a blind on premises and then not be able to, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
how's that
Yeah,
gonna
but-
work?
But you can't, I would not leave a blind sit there for once.
Okay, so then that's not gonna work.
We may need to hold this.
You know what? That probably would be sensible. We need more information.
How he's gonna get what he he'd say,
Because the
so,
board doesn't want a duck blind sitting there all year long, and wants a boat, and there's gonna be some way someone could get there, but not all the apparatus that they need to be successfully hunting, then that's gonna be
He has
problematic.
to use a scooter where it's a two-person boat,
okay,
like a lay-down boat.
right, okay. All right, so that's a condition.
Whose area is this?
It's Ann's.
So you, what do you wanna do?
I'd like to hold it, we can look at it and I can talk to Rich about
Okay.
how to proceed
Okay.
with what is gonna go there.
That settles that, it's on hold.
Okay, the next one is Jeff Jones, permit 155, transfer permit to Eric Sackelbon.
So,
Okay, I never know how to say his
I
name.
know, it's tricky, sorry about that.
So I sent this to Rich, and he said, "Good morning, all. Upon further review of the attached transfer paperwork, it was determined that the actual documents attached, which we fixed, that was my fault. Eric has one location in Mill Pond, 162, possibly another. He is on with a co-permittee, just the one. The attached transfer was also submitted back in October 2021 and denied at that time as well due to the following reasons. The blind application was only given to Mr. Jones since he had access from his family's property and his son has a severe medical condition, which is why this location was only approved. Transferring this location to another individual would be a safety issue to the surrounding residences as well as the duck blind in the area. We have handled several hunting complaints over the past 2 hunting seasons, and it is our recommendation that Mr. Jones doesn't renew a transfer should not be allowed, and the location should be taken off the list of available hunting locations.
Safety issue, that's what you're saying, so
Yes.
that's done.
And this blind was given to this gentleman because his son has a medical condition.
Yeah, that's,
He can't transfer it.
No.
It's too close
Nope.
to residences, and they've had complaints.
Well,
So-
then we should take it off, should
So
be taken
Rich
off.
is, yeah, okay.
denial,
And removed from.
and removed from the list,
Yeah.
Yep,
And make sure the blind's removed from the area.
Okay.
okay?
put a red flag on the area, so in future
know.
times, we know that we already went through.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
The next one,
So the next one is Mike Tessitore. This is his new area, Widgeon Way. Let me just
and it's
grab-
okay now based on the constable's report?
Okay, Rich says, okay, we will approve the new location and his old location going to be added to the wait list. As far as the hunting layout blind or his boat would be fine. So he said he wants to use both because sometimes he takes his kids with him and his boat is only for one guy. So he likes to do the layout blinds to take his kid with him.
Okay.
All
But it's
right,
approved.
so he'll do both.
It's okay.
Okay,
All right.
we talked about this one before.
Yes, yeah, it's okay.
All right, so that's all I got for you
All right,
guys
thank you very much for
today.
Thank you.
working on that for us.
Oh, no
Sorry.
worries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guess we'll go to 124 Cold Spring Point Road because Mr. Matt finally showed up. It's you.
Hey, it's the new timing thing going on, right? It's actually according to this clock, right?
And my microwave coffee. Still don't have a program.
How's everybody going?
We're
Good.
good, Billy, nice to see you.
Billy Mack, First Coastal.
Thank you, Lee.
Reconstruct in place 98 feet of existing bulkhead, an existing 2-foot by 120-foot wide walkway with steps. Existing 4-foot by 91 walkway, existing 4 by 31 elevator walkway, and a 3 by 4 step. Existing 3 by 15 ramp to a 6 by 20 float. There's a lot of decks there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're basically rebuilding what's there.
Yeah.
Again, with the construction we're using, we're not gonna be going into the wetlands at all. It's gonna be a cantilever bulkhead with no tieback system.
Okay.
It's,
And the work's gonna be done from the water?
pardon me?
Work's gonna be done from the water?
Yes. Yep.
Get a barge up in there.
Get a barge up in there, yeah, it's deep enough. Pretty straightforward. Do you guys have any questions?
Nope.
I think we're okay.
Okay, yeah. Second,
I'm fine
second
with
round
it.
on this one.
Good,
We've got stamp plans, so we'll advance it.
advance it.
Okay.
Thank you. Cool. I'll come back for the others.
I believe the gentleman for North Sea isn't here, Billy?
No, he's not here.
He's fine. I can help a little bit with that, I've been talking to him.
45.
Well, do you have authority to be representing
No.
him?
No.
So then let's not do that. Let's not,
I'll get in trouble.
let's not do that.
All right,
But wait, Billy, you're next.
you're next again.
Pink ginger?
Pink ginger.
This is a rock revetment that was put in a few, I believe right after Sandy.
Right after Sandy, yeah.
Billy,
and-
Billy, and then I got comments.
No, it has.
No, this one had permits.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It had
Bite my tongue.
permits, some,
Take
but
that
some
back.
of it actually laid out on a right of way.
yeah.
So what the applicant's looking to do, I believe, is to remove that return that goes onto the right of way and move it back on their property. And to, basically, the rock revetment has some undulations in height in it, so they want to make it consistent, the same height all the way along, which is, there's a bulkhead to the north, exactly the same height as that.
Yep.
So can, we have that on the height of the project that's gonna,
Sure.
I mean, they're not gonna
Match.
increase the elevation, they're just gonna basically
Exactly.
relay the rocks a little bit in a way that it's not gonna be completely vertical and more of a slope so they can absorb the wave energy, right?
That's correct.
And then refill with sand and plant with grass. I know,
Yeah.
Mark, this is the one that we had done the, maintenance
Condition on.
agreement. So,
Okay.
and Mark was working on it, I don't know what stage it is right
Yeah,
now.
I'll be putting it on for next exec for a discussion of
Okay.
procedure regarding covenants and restrictions moving forward.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we're moving forward on it.
Dynamite. And I'll make sure we note on the plan elevation, same as the adjacent bulkhead.
Yes,
Yeah,
so that way
and
it's all
this-
consistent along there, because
Yeah.
some of it was a little bit lower, and that's where the issues were.
Exactly.
And do you want that on the cover sheet as well, as the plan?
Yes, I would like to have it stated that it needs to be the same height as the bulkhead, just property north of it.
Yeah.
So that it was all consistently along the whole stretch.
Okay, and that may dovetail into the Sandringham,
Yes.
which is gonna be a similar situation.
Well, this is a unprotected.
Well, all new, this is, yeah,
Yeah,
different.
This is Peconic Beach Road?
no, Shinnecock.
Shinnecock Beach Road.
Sorry.
We need stamp plans for that other one, though, 8 Russell. We need stamp
Okay.
plans for that.
Yeah, we gotta still review
Now,
the
does Sandringham
condition.
have sand replenish agreements?
I don't was this the Owsley's property?
Yes,
or-
exactly right.
Yeah, so there was a biolog, I believe it was twice the biolog project
Mhm.
was done there, and both times, it lasted for about 3 or 4 years, or,
Yeah, until the next storm. I mean, we've restored that bluff multiple times,
Yes.
including an extensive biolog project that, lasted until the next storm.
currently, there's nothing there but sand,
That's right.
and
And
elevated bluff.
Before you go to the Sandringham, are you advancing or waiting for the
We're gonna,
license agreement?
we're
or
gonna wait
same-
for the
okay.
maintenance
For legal,
agreement and
yeah.
discuss it
Alright, so
amongst
you're
the
gonna hold-
board.
You're gonna hold
because-
8 Russell?
Eight Russell.
Yeah, because it's gonna be crafted specifically for that 8 Russell property.
Okay, you can move on to the next.
Right. So, give us a little overview
Yeah,
of what
so-
you're asking for on this property.
I know that a couple of those properties had gotten together years ago to approach the board for a rock wall protection. That would be as landward as we possibly could. And at the time, the board had approved one of the, or 2 properties west of this with the condition that they refill the beach as needed
Yes.
and monitor it. And that, those properties are still doing well. The beach hasn't diminished. This would be a similar activity for this property here. And just to give you a heads up, that the adjacent so the Owsley property is 2 doors to the west. That's the one you're referencing. This
Yeah.
property was also involved in that same time that the Owsley property was.
Ted Hep, was it Hep's
Hep
property?
is the one in between.
Okay.
Did you go, Ed?
Yeah, he's good, I think.
I spent a
Can't-
lot,
Can't get it out of his
Time.
head if you try to, and here it comes out. Right.
a lot of time here trying to figure out, and then the property just east of that was another property that he was just cutting the brush down on his property and putting it,
Yes,
and leaves and putting it in
Yeah.
front of his property.
right, right.
So it is going to be, it's a standalone application for a rock revetment on both sides. There is nothing right now.
That's right.
So it's a unique property along this stretch.
That's right. And just historically, just to bring back on that, there was, the owners were prepared to go and file the similar condition to maintain the beach, although I think they sold the property. Owsley ended up selling the property, not going through with the project,
Okay.
so everything kind of fell apart. But we were at the point of getting final approval from the trustees.
Okay.
There was a DEC permit, we're re-applying for that. So, yeah.
So when something's like in process like this, and
Mhm.
the property gets sold.
The covenant would
yes,
follow.
Would still.
Yes.
Okay. So the sand
Yeah.
renourishment and the
Yes.
permits then would have to.
Yeah, and that would be a covenant that we'd work out with their
I
attorneys.
think there
and
is
theirs.
already a covenant on the property with the
Conservation.
biologs.
Oh, could be.
And so we're gonna have to dig that up and see how that is worded, and, because, not to recreate the wheel, but I know some of the covenants went through a couple iterations and like 3 or 4 lawyers,
Yes.
attorneys, so each one of them have their fingerprints, and I think each one of the
Yeah.
covenants are a little different than the previous ones. So I think we
Yeah,
need.
actually, James, if you bring up the aerial, there's about 4 doors down. There are 2 properties to the west, yeah.
Yeah, they're on Aqua Drive,
Ocean View. I
Ocean
think.
View, yeah, sorry.
So there's 2 revetments that were built, you had that one and this, those 2 were built with that same
Yeah.
beach replenishment maintenance
The one had a
covenant.
bulkhead and the other one did not have a bulkhead,
That's
the one
right.
to the west.
That's right.
How are we phrasing the language in those as to checking or monitoring of those sand replenishments? Are you guys doing that?
I think it's once it's noted that the beach has diminished to a certain point,
A percentage.
a percentage, then it triggers it.
So you're doing that?
So we have been monitoring it.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, this area, because of Sandy, was inundated with a lot of sand because there were several unprotected bluffs that put a lot of material, and it's still, some of the sand is still there today.
Yeah.
So it actually built up considerably because it got pulled into the system. So it's almost, taken care of. It was self-managing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what we've noticed there is that the erosion is more episodic than it is on a regular basis. It's the storm-generated erosion, which ends up
Makes sense.
washing out a lot of the bluff, and then it spills out onto the beach. So we're just trying to manage some of that, and if they do have erosion where the beach is diminished, then they're required to come in and
Sand replenishment.
put in sand.
So I guess we should do the research on the property that's being asked right now, see
Yeah.
what covenants and restrictions, and the original biolog, pull up everything so that Mark and I could do a review over it, and then we could represent to the board, our findings, so we can move forward on it.
Okay, great.
Also, would we need an advisory letter on this?
We're going beyond our jurisdiction?
It's a 50-foot.
It's in our jurisdiction entirely.
It's the
is.
Shinnecock
Yeah,
Ridge
because you
Road.
guys have
It
the
is
road.
James.
We have the road.
Okay.
I
We're
mean,
not
it's-
going
isn't it
land
depicted
without.
on there, the roadway?
Roadways,
Isn't it
It's on the survey, I know that.
It's landward of the
Yeah,
project.
we're totally in our jurisdiction.
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta put it on the plans, all right, you want it on the plans?
Yeah.
The Shinnecock
Yeah,
Beach Road.
I'll
Yes.
show that on the plans as well.
And what's also the revegetation plan or the vegetation plan here?
So it's completely cover the structure with beach grass, sand and beach grass,
Uh-huh.
and maintain that.
What about above it? Because it's a pretty steep.
It is pretty steep, and that's got beach, it goes beach grass, anything that's disturbed up to the top of the bluff is all beach grass.
You guys planted, I don't know what shrubberies they were in little pots, they were about a foot tall, and they randomly planted little shrubberies.
Yeah, there
Was
was,
it groundsel bush or something that was planted
there
there?
was definitely some grounds, and we put some bayberry in as well.
Bayberry,
Yeah.
that's what it was, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's been replanted. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm looking at an old.
Old photo, yeah, I believe it.
so-
And just a heads up, there, we do have an application in for 20, which is the old Owsley property. So
Okay.
these two, you can treat them the same,
Okay,
you know, whatever.
well, maybe we'll get that other one in, because I think these properties were all looked at the same time
were.
for the biologs and everything.
Yep.
So, are you gonna have that one submitted?
It's already submitted, it's just not here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll wait until I get that to look at with Mark also, okay?
Yep, yep,
Okay.
perfect. And I think that's it for me.
That's it for you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Hold out.
The Christian G. Wilding Irrevocable Trust, 6 Mill Pond Road, Hampton Bays, Coal Environmental Services. I do not see them here, so I'd like to put this one off.
Okay.
The next one, Pine Neck Landing Association, Underwater Land, East Quogue, New York.
I'm recused on this one.
You're
on the order.
recused on it. This is this a dredging project? I gotta probably-
I can explain it to you, but I'm not voting on it.
You can explain it
It's
because
the dredge, it's our
It's a
maintenance
dredge.
dredge project that we've done forever. We have our DEC permit, but our
town permit is
town
lapsed.
permit is time for,
Okay, I'm
to
trying-
redo it, so we resubmitted it. But
okay.
it's owned private bottom,
Yep,
owned by Pine Neck Landing.
it's inside the
Inside
man-made
the-
marina.
Right.
Yep.
Where's the spoil go then?
We have a DEC approved spoil site. It de-waters on the, what we call the beach, but then it gets trucked to an upland site because
It's
It
all,
can't be
it's all
used.
clean
it's all
sand.
just clean.
It is clean
Inside.
Yeah, and anything that's mucky gets trucked out and then the sand gets spread around. It's been done for
Yeah,
decades and
no, no,
decades.
no, no.
Yeah.
I was just looking to see if that sand could stay there.
No, because it's only, yeah, no,
Not big enough.
not big enough. Yeah, you don't have enough space, so it de-waters and then it leaves.
Would
And
go,
that's it.
if you would go back into the basin
Can
of
we
the well.
put it anyplace else?
What's up?
It's not
I-
It's
I mean,
private,
permit
it's
says-
private. That would be great if you got a
Yeah.
spot you wanna put it, but
Yeah.
it goes to,
Okay. Just
mean-
a thought,
It should be
Yeah.
put in front of Road H in Shinnecock.
yeah,
right?
but it needs to,
No,
just,
seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
we've tried, moving stuff like that, and I believe wherever it ends up, it's in the DEC permit, right? Where it can be used.
exactly.
I know
It's
it's
trucked to a
specified.
DEC approves.
Yeah, it's
site.
specified,
Can
yeah.
that be revisited?
It's a state, I mean,
Well, not for this one,
yeah.
but for going
ma-
forward?
Maybe, but it's still, it's,
I
it,
think that's a worthwhile
it certainly can,
conversation
because the association pays a ton of money, obviously, for it
To
to.
take it to not be
Exactly.
reused. I mean, if it could be
Exactly.
reused.
I'm sure
village
that,
or
I'm sure the
otherwise,
contractor that takes it ends up reusing it. Where it ends up going, sits and whatever, and then it goes someplace
benefits
else.
if
Clean
we don't,
sand.
Right?
Yeah, but,
Just
it's-
going forward.
Yeah,
that might
you
be-
could, but the way it states right now, the DEC's it's gotta go to a
Right.
upland site.
But going forward, if you've been doing it for decades.
It's been going on
I
forever.
mean,
Yeah.
a good spot for it would be over at Diana Beach on the bay side, behind those rock gabions where it's washed out, and refilling that in so the horseshoe crabs don't breach it and get stuck in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are places we can use it, but
Yeah.
it would,
There
You would
is.
have to
The
get the permit to
DEC,
do it.
yeah, the
Yeah.
DEC permit would have to be amended to whatever,
Yes.
because
But
it's,
they'd work with you on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
For sure. It would just take time.
Right.
I think if this has been something that's been going on.
Yeah.
And Ed, I think as part of FIMP though, there's a conversation about removing those rock gabions.
I was in that meeting, yeah.
it's been a conversation, and it's been,
It's a worthwhile
it's one of my pet
conversation,
peeves to
hopefully.
have them removed.
Oh,
Without,
It is?
yeah, I
To have
wanna,
them
I
removed?
wanna have them removed.
Oh.
With having them there and having a bowl on the other side, it just basically entices the horseshoe crabs at high tide to walk in there and lay their eggs, and when the tide recedes, they can't get out of there, so they're trapped.
There's a lot of discussion
Yes.
about this
Right.
in the last meeting that I was in, and it's like wading your way through barbed wire and poison ivy, you know?
No, it's a
So what's
concern.
next?
What's next?
Town of
Obviously-
Southampton Bay Drive, Hampton Bays.
You're advancing,
The Pine Neck Landing.
Oh, yeah, we're advancing the plan, sorry.
thanks.
The next one is Town of Southampton, Bay Drive, Hampton Bays, McLean Associates. This is a project which was one of my first road end projects. About 15 years ago, they replaced the bulkhead with a new vinyl bulkhead and replaced the steps down. Now they're looking to replace it again. I guess it's deteriorated, but there's a much larger project. They're gonna do a drainage project up, up towards the road, stormwater treatment system also, and then temporary erosion control of the sediment, putting out, so it doesn't wash into the bay. The roadway is pitched down, so on a heavy rain, it really washes down there pretty dramatically. The bulkhead is 50 linear feet, which they're looking to replace, and, with new face piles and everything. The pilings that they had originally used were only 6-inch pilings, and they should have used much heavier pilings. That's, I guess, one of the reasons it's being replaced. And they're looking to put a different anchoring system behind the bulkhead in order to make sure that it doesn't fall over, because it's about 7.5 feet vertical bulkhead with a lot of pressure behind it. It's a really good project. It will need to be done, so by the time they get through us and the other permits, it'll be probably a year or so before it's done, so.
So we should, since
Yes.
it's for the town of Southampton, we
Yep.
should triple the fee.
Yes.
So
No, it's the highway department.
there are.
Oh, it's for the highway department?
There,
Waive the fee.
Where's the
James,
fee?
there are if you could pull up the aerial, there are bulkheads that abut this on
Yes.
either side of
Yes.
both residential properties.
Correct.
Okay, and the height, I'm sorry, I missed that, the height.
It's
Is there any
gonna,
change in height?
no, it's
That's-
already well
and it's-
We
elevated.
got special
Oh,
terms
yeah,
and
no, I
conditions
know
for
it's
this permit.
super steep
It's the
there.
same elevation as the
As
other,
the adjoining.
east and west of
Okay,
the,
sorry, thank you.
project. And we've had several complaints because the dock the access steps that are currently there are deteriorating, and it's been a constant maintenance with the marine maintenance department or the highway department fixing this, and the pilings, the face pilings that were used, they were banded, but they were never maintained with a steel band on top of them, so they were all splitting apart, so that's another issue. So, as it moves forward, I recommend that they are maintained and looked after with that stainless steel banding. So,
Very important.
yes, it is.
Double a lot of times.
Yes, but double banding is good, but, it's something that, once a project is done and it's left for a couple of years, the bands do break off and they need to be, constantly maintained, so. But in all, it's a good project, so I recommend we move it
Yeah,
forward.
absolutely.
Just one recommendation, their description is quite lengthy, it has a lot of upland stuff in there. Do you want to limit it to your jurisdiction?
Just our jurisdiction.
Bulkhead and 10 feet land?
Yes,
That-
yep,
Yes.
and everything that the drainage and everything that's gonna be by the guardrail and points in that area should be specifically on the highway department.
Okay, so I'll request the updated cover sheet, and then we also need stamp plans, so.
Yep, it's from McLean, so I mean, the town
I mean, it's
uses
good
them.
to have reference to the whole project relative to the other mitigative measures that are included, so just in the appropriate spots.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah,
It's
just
two
put it in the right
pages
spot.
long, and it's not gonna
Yeah,
fit on the
no.
description, we just need the
Exactly.
basics to the bulkhead.
What's in our jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right.
All right, Ann.
56 Noyak Harbor Road, in Noyak, the permit guy. So, this is something that we've been working on for a while. We are still in need of a bit of work on the applicant's part. So I think it would be prudent to hold this off until the representative is here.
Makes sense. Hold it.
Second one, 48 Redwood Road in Sag Harbor, Suffolk Environmental. Matt, if you'd like to come forward.
Mr. Matt Ivins,
Sir.
on the scene.
How are you, Matt?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Okay.
All right. So this is like sort of inherited this one from a coworker, and this one I don't think we're going to be advancing today. There's a number of things,
Okay.
but I just want to get some feedback from you guys. Andy, you want to walk everybody through it real quick?
You want me to? Applicant
Mhm.
proposes to install a dock assembly consisting of a wood ramp, 4x10, a fixed elevated catwalk with through flow decking, 4x46, hinged aluminum ramp, 3x13, floating dock, 6x20, and arranged in an I configuration, and supported by 16 8-inch diameter piles, all lumber untreated, all hardware to be hot dipped. So the first thing, and the reason I carefully read the dimensions, is because the pier line in Sag Harbor
Yep.
is 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So this exceeds that. That's one thing that we
Yeah.
looked at the other day when we were looking this over and with a site visit. The second thing is, the floating dock would need to be, the inner edge of it would need to be at 2.5 feet of water.
Okay.
That is also a problematic situation. So those are two things that were
Okay.
glaringly obvious.
So this is not
to
meeting
us.
Blue Book tests at this point in
No,
time?
no. So a couple
But just
things.
Just a pier with a little platform and a step, then you can put a more.
Well, that was
on
my
there.
question. Do you guys allow any type of undercarriage to hold the floating dock up still, or no? Is that
I
out
don't
of the
think
blue
you're gonna have
book?
enough water there.
No?
No.
Okay.
What is that, 18 inches?
We're about
It's pretty
tricky.
shallow.
26 inches. We'd
But that was the
probably
middle
have to
of
go.
the float.
Yeah.
And he's
I
gonna have to
mean-
bring it back to meet the 60 feet.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
problem.
So
Okay.
the quickest and easiest way is just a straight dock with a platform.
Yeah, so the only thing, the only wrinkle, hey James, can I ask you to do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you bring up aerials?
Absolutely.
So it's a little bizarre what's going on over there, and I gotta show you what's going on. You guys are familiar to the east, there's the Rowan Club.
Yep.
Yes.
And I like Lee's a great guy. But these guys, I don't know, James, can you go back a little bit in time? They're kinda using this guy's shoreline, to launch the shells from, and it's tearing up the beach. And in fact, not just from an environmental standpoint, but it's actually retreating our high water mark. So we're kind of, we're basically dealing with that. Wait, hold on. 2002, if you go back.
Yeah, they're walking over because there's
Yeah, so we just want to bring that up to you just in case we just don't want to get a violation from you guys or Sag Harbor or anyone.
Has this been brought to anyone else's
We,
attention?
we sent in a letter to Sag Harbor. I don't think anything has happened.
To the harbor committee?
Yeah, and I think Robert of my office sent a letter to you guys, although I'm not 100%. So again, we just want you guys to be aware of this.
Is this something that should be revegetated?
Well, that's what we would like to
you
do.
can see the path where they walk.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
familiar
actually,
with-
on Google Earth, it's crazy, there's an actual shot of the shells in that area,
You
people
can
getting
see
into
the
the
path
shells.
that's
Yeah,
where it's completely denuded of all
Yeah.
this.
I mean, one of the ideas between the owner and Robert of my office was to put up a fence along the shared side yard property boundary. But I think honestly, we may reach out and contact Lee and just say you have to stop this because, it's affecting our shoreline.
It's liability too.
Yeah, and it's just, it'll just get worse over time.
Well, that's a whole separate discussion.
Yeah.
And
That's
something
civil.
we-
I just wanted to bring it up to you
Yeah,
guys,
we appreciate that.
But in a way, it does tie into us because then it affects where our high water mark is as well. Now we're dealing with a high water mark that could be 10, 15 further feet landward of where it really should be, which then in turn affects the extension of our dock.
This is true.
That's my point.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
why you
I'm
need
not
such
sure
a
how you
long
guys
dock.
wanna, will that get us out to the proper depth? I don't know. But number one, I'd like to have this stopped.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep,
You
and number
should-
two, maybe be able to factor in those. Because I think the owner has no problem with going back in there, planting it up with Spartina, restoring it back,
So the property that we're talking about is technically owned by,
Which, the one that?
no, the one that you're talking about.
Yeah,
currently
that's,
issued.
Your
that's-
property.
Yeah, this is the property I'm representing.
And who owns the property next door?
Well, the one right next to, that's a paper road owned by the village.
So it's the
Um,
village's property that's getting,
Well, that's where they're accessing
The
our
access point.
property, yeah. And it's nice, I mean, again, it's a great thing, it's for kids, they go out, they do the rowing.
You can get them a permit to put a dock, a walkway.
I think they're like, swear through their property, basically.
Yeah, over that stuff.
They used to have a platform out there. I don't know what happened to that.
But they need a pretty substantial platform for these skulls
Yeah.
because they're about 30 feet,
Yeah.
25
Pretty
or 30
long.
feet long.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, what's the best way for you guys to, I mean, I'll deal with it, but we're gonna have to obviously put on hold. I have to, amend this anyway. DEC wants me to extend landward the dock so it's out of the wet, or, so there's no footpath going through the, wetlands.
Matt, the dock that's to the right-hand side or the east, now that's off of the.
That's the marina.
Marina's property?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, and there's a dock that's to the west. How far?
That one, well, if you even go further west, there's a dock that actually extends, yeah, that one
Yeah.
right there.
So if you draw a pier line from the second dock to the west
Yeah,
and to
To
the
the guy on
dock
the
to the
east.
east, where would your proposed dock lay out
that's what I'll figure out, yeah.
as, because you're,
The shoreline's different.
yeah,
Yeah.
it actually, but it has like a reverse bowl, and
Mhm.
I know we've done this in the past where we've kept it within a pier line where the proposed dock is no further out than any of the other docks in the area.
Yeah,
But also taking in consideration that this property is suffering
mhm.
pretty serious erosion.
Yeah.
right, so you gotta definitely go back to the drawing board now. I know why
Yeah,
you made
which
the
is
statement, you're
fine.
gonna be on hold for a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some
No
time
doubt.
on this.
You're gonna
We
need
can-
some time.
Yeah.
We can continue the conversation and see if we can figure it out.
Yeah, and if we're gonna replant,
Is-
that, I can make that part of the application, I
dock-
think we are.
Is his neighbor, is that a platform with a pulley?
Yeah, that was probably done back in the days when the DEC would give you the pulley system.
Yeah, that's what he could do over there,
Yeah. Well,
put him on with a pulley.
yeah, I gotta
There's
go
not much water there at low tide.
No, that's all, it's pretty shallow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's all rocks and very shallow water. There's
Okay.
no submerged aquatic vegetation though,
back. Yeah.
but, it's also pretty shallow.
All right, so let me go back, because I have more work on this, but I just, it's good I got to talk to you guys
Back
about
to the
this.
drawing board.
Yeah, so I'll talk, I'll get back to you,
Okay.
and maybe we go out or something at there and check it out.
Thanks, thank you.
Yep,
Thanks, Matt.
all right,
We
take care.
Thanks, Matt.
have one more that's a walk-on, for Gannett Creek in North Haven. I don't have the file here, but this is,
You need a resolution for a walk-on?
the,
Well- It's a work session.
You should have it.
we have, this is an application that is a new application to, dredge the sand. Thank you. Thanks, Jess. So the North Haven community to the west of the Gannett Creek, restored the bulkhead.
West Side
And-
Hills?
West Side
I
Hills.
think
So the
Yeah.
community to the west restored replaced the bulkhead, and they're now asking for emergency dredging there. As you can see, even though on a site visit the other day, there's still sand that's obstructing the channel.
So they have,
So
the
they have,
permits?
sorry,
They have the state permits for this?
yes.
They've gotten a big-
They had trustee permits, but they expired, so
Expired.
they're back in for new ones.
It expired in past spring, right?
May, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, so they have all the permits for it, but they didn't have this one. Terry Construction did the bulkhead work, the bulkhead is complete, but, upon a site visit, you can see clearly that the sand is still there. So they're asking, in order to be able to complete this, within the, dredging
How many
window.
cubic yards are they gonna be dredging?
It's all the same.
So they didn't put it on the application, however, we took it off their old permit and we just made it the same description as their old permit. So it was requested to be put on work session with a resolution for today because there's an emergency
How do we calculate the fee
dredging.
if they don't?
Well, it's gonna, so the resolution's actually on for them for today's meeting. There was loss in communication to putting the actual application on for this work session. That's why it's not on the agenda today for the work session. So it was a mistake on our end. It should have been on there. But the description is, on the
Okay.
agenda for the, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head
How
how much
much is-
it
let me
was,
see
but
if I
it's the
can
same
find
as the
Can I
old
give a little
permits.
history of the area down there?
Sure.
Thanks, Ed.
There was a point in time that the Suffolk County was doing the dredging. They stopped doing the dredging, and Costello did it, and I believe another contractor have done it, because the dredging was, they weren't doing it because the bulkhead was completely dysfunctional. They would do the dredging, and there was a massive hole in there, and within, a month or so, all of that material would end up right back into the channel. Fast track forward to now, Terry Construction was in the process of replacing that westerly bulkhead, fixing and mitigating the sand that was going into the channel. So they're looking to do the dredging, which if it's done now, it would not fill in within a month or 6 months or whatever. So, that's,
So we already have a resolution on for the general for this.
We
Is
do,
that what
and
you're
it
saying? So we
reads-
just left this off by work session?
Yes,
just
by
like-
mistake, I'm
I got it,
sorry.
I got it now, okay.
I should have
No, I
started.
get it,
And,
no, I get it.
and historically, we would waive the fee of the material that was dredged because it was a public benefit in a navigable channel.
Okay, thanks for
And-
clearing that up.
Yeah, yeah,
That was
thank you.
important to get on the record.
And
Thank you, Ed.
last year, the water quality people from Sag Harbor came, and this is, North Haven,
Right.
and Sag Harbor too. And this is one of their, it was North Haven specifically here, asking for this to prioritize the dredging, so, because the certified body of water became uncertified because of the poor water quality. They grow oysters in there, so there's a whole reason that they
Right.
want,
So,
Yep.
it's a lot of
So-
public
so
benefit.
so thank you for setting the record straight.
Yes.
That way it justifies the next resolution at the
Right.
1 o'clock meeting.
And just to clarify, so their former permit read that it was a maintenance dredge of 100 feet by 325-foot area to 6 feet below mean low water and removing approximately 4,000 cubic yards of spoil.
Okay.
This is more spot dredging to reclaim what was seeping through the bulkhead.
Okay, I think we're clear.
And
Thanks,
it's,
Ed.
and it's public beach restoration down there too.
Right.
Yes,
No, I
and they're
think
putting it just
the
to the
record's clear.
west.
Record's
Okay.
clear.
All right.
The next thing we
So
have,
we'd like to advance that.
yeah, we already have resolution on, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So now you have a general permit application for determination for final stamp plan review. This was Trustee Parrish's area.
This is the ASB Tiffany LLC, 34 Westbridge Road, Village of West Hampton. I believe we have everything that we need.
Yes, we received stamp plans.
Okay. You good?
Yep,
So can
I have
Move it ahead.
That could advance,
Okay.
and that concludes the work session agenda. We do have exec session at 10:30. Unless there's something I'm missing. A gentleman came in late. I don't know.
What was your,
What are you here for?
It's on 56 Noyak Road, New York.
Noyak Harbor Road.
You wanna go back to that one?
Are we get a permit guy?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
So if you'd like to come forward.
Yes. Would you like to
come on up.
So this is going back to 56 Noyak Harbor
Yes.
Road. This is the applicant for the, this is something that we've been going through process with. Construct 32-foot fixed pier with through-flow deck, 14-foot hinge through-flow ramp, 20-foot through-flow floating dock as per attached plans. After the last work session, we had several requests. We needed to see the proposed dock on the survey. We needed to know mean high water to the dock, and we needed new plans and a new cover sheet. So if you want to address the
On,
concerns from prior.
October 17th, I delivered copies of the updated survey, which had the items on it that you requested.
as well as updating the cover sheet and the plans.
I don't believe we updated the cover sheet. I remember,
All right, so we've.
I don't see it, that's why I'm, but we
James,
did get you
are
the
you aware of
plans.
this? Have you got time to review any of this, James?
We don't have the updated cover sheet. The most recent cover sheet's from July.
Right, yeah, I don't, when I gave the plans, and I don't think there was an updated cover sheet with it.
So we're gonna need
Right,
that.
so we need an updated
Okay,
cover sheet,
that I can do,
please.
and but I think the plans had to address distance from high water, and a couple of distances that the surveyor Ralph Heil had to add to the survey, which he did.
Yes,
We were having a difficult time locating him, but we have found him.
Okay, that might be old. And we also had asked for the fact that the existing dock was to be placed on the cover sheet. So we have that.
I will add that to the cover sheet.
There was concern about distance across the creek, but I believe we have that now as well.
Yeah, I believe we
Right?
do. On
Is
that,
that
yeah,
on
I
the
think he gave you
survey?
that.
You have distance from the end of the floating dock to the extended property line?
Correct.
Mm,
You have that?
That's not on there.
That's
That's
what
not
you
on the
need.
survey,
That you're gonna need, right?
yes. And as well
The
as,
southerly property line, because it could potentially be over,
Yeah,
right?
because you're on an angle here.
yeah,
You could have an issue there. So you're gonna need that,
You need to
So-
be 10 feet off the extended property line for the structure.
correct?
in the underwater lands.
So you want existing floating dock to the southerly property line?
Yeah, like you see, you have this there, see the way this is kinda angled,
Yeah.
and the way this is, you're getting awfully close when when this line gets extended, we need to know this dimension
Off the property, okay.
off the extended property
Yes,
line.
Yes, extended
Because when
property
you look
line.
at this, just,
I got it.
you understand?
Yep, yep.
That way you can either move the dock a little bit further north and make it.
So I have my
see
space.
how
You need more clearance.
Yeah, that will
Yep,
give you
clearance.
flexibility on that.
Okay.
And is there enough water when you're looking at I passed the survey down, so the height?
Yeah, I think
You
it's.
got
it
2.5.
goes-
I saw 2.5 on the
Okay.
air terminus.
Okay,
What is this here, where the
so
dock-
that's the old dock?
That's
that's
right
gonna
on.
be
to-
replaced.
Okay, with light penetrating decking and raising it up so that,
Yep, so there's
Yep.
gonna be a ramp.
yep, good.
So you have your list,
I have my list.
Okay,
back to the drawing board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for being late.
No worries.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Thank you.
came in at the
You're all
perfect
right.
time.
That's never been said about me before, so that's,
You just made it.
Yeah,
and good luck to everybody tomorrow.
thank you.
Okay, so that being finalizing our agenda for today, I think that there's no further commentary. We're expected for an executive session. Is that him?
No, that was the guy. Yeah.
thanks, Billy.
All right, so,
So we have to just, are you closing up?
Yeah, but we have a gentleman that was sitting there.
He went outside.
He, I think he was here just to observe, but I don't know.
well, he's not on the agenda, and we
Yeah.
don't have
We
public
have
portion
no
on work
public
session,
portion.
so I think what makes the most sense is we adjourn our work session,
Go
bring
ahead,
them to
sir.
executive session, and get ready for,
I will second that.
all right, I have made motion, seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll be in executive session to discuss confidential legal advice. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Got his backpack here, too.
All right.